Look at you.
I tried to start the recording while you were looking away so you would know it was recorded, so the audience, you could actually be yourself and the audience could get to know you for the first time.
You're funny.
The whole point of growing a mustache is so you can touch it. Like people like say to you on the YouTube comments, look how much Josh touches his mustache. Isn't that why you grew it?
Exactly. The only reason I grew it so I could touch it. So I could do this.
This is 6 weeks of beard right here.
6 weeks? It's already been 6 weeks since you started growing that thing out?
Yeah, and it's all because of you guys, because I felt peer pressure. You guys are like, hey, we missed the beard. So I'm like, I'll grow that shit back for Josh and Matt. Fuck
Man,
yeah.
that thing is, it is white.
Let me show you something crazy here.
I see that shirt. I like that shirt.
You do, right? Look at, I'm going to take my headphones off.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Like what
my neck hair is connecting to my beard hair.
Okay.
Soon it's just going to be a fucking helmet. I am going to be a werewolf.
You're going to be a werewolf. You got the old, the full beard connecting around the neck. I like it, man. I wish I could do that. This is literally, I haven't shaved in 37 years. Right here.
Serious?
No, yeah, my face just, I don't grow hair on the side of my face. Pretty crazy.
Did you see Matt launched a supplement company?
Yeah, we can. Let's wait to talk about that when he gets on, man. We gotta talk about that
because we can be honest now.
I'll always be honest.
You're a good dude like that. Did you see the thing with Nancy Pelosi?
No, I don't watch the news all day like you do.
I don't watch the news all day. I just have a cell phone.
I know.
Her husband invested $10 million in Microsoft a month before the Pentagon did a $27 billion deal with Microsoft.
Oh my gosh. Can you ever believe it? You mean a politician was doing something behind some insider trading? No way. I don't believe it for a second. I don't believe that for a second. Yeah.
I just wish I would have known.
That sounds completely made up. No politician's ever done any sort of insider trading. Yeah, the thing that I always thought was funny, and I heard this on the Joe Rogan show, so I can't claim this as my own, was the whole, remember how John McCain was coming after MMA, right? UFC. They were calling it human cockfighting.
Uh-huh.
And then,
it kind of is.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's wrong, but they were going after it was really strange how they were coming after it, right? The Senate was going after UFC and they were trying to ban it from the United States. And then it can't come to find out that, John McCain had a lot of money invested in Budweiser or Anheuser-Busch. And who is Anheuser-Busch the biggest sponsor or, Anheuser-Busch had the most money invested in boxing, right? And UFC kind of killed off boxing. And so there's always backstories, I'm not saying that's 100% fact. I heard it on Joe Rogan. I have no idea if that's how much the legitimacy of any of that or whatever, but that's the kind of shit you're that's crazy when you actually start to think about why these politicians do the things that they do.
And even if they're not doing it on purpose, the fact that they have that, even for us to think about, is not good.
Right. Yeah. It's not, never good.
I really do believe that the president of the White House should just fucking wear a sheet over his head with a hole in it like a ghost. And like Gandhi. He should just be like Gandhi. That's it. He should wear fucking sandals.
I don't know if a sheet over his head with holes in it.
It doesn't have to be a white. No, I'm not saying for his eyes. I'm saying like a Gandhi robe. It doesn't have to be a white sheet. He can pick different colors and patterns, but he should be wearing fucking sandals and a fucking toga. Is that what those called? Togas. And that's it. Yeah, and he should sleep on the fucking front lawn in a fucking tent. And that's it. Those should be his interests. Those should be his interests.
But that'll never happen.
Why not?
I don't know. Because there's one thing that I've realized in my 37 years is that money runs the world. Nobody runs the world but money.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that to some degree. I mean, I'm super okay with people being super duper 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 rich. I don't blame You know, that was Greg's whole problem. Like, people always thought he had a problem with Coke. He didn't have a problem with Coke. He didn't have a problem with sugar. Just stay out of the health space. Don't use your money to lie, you know what I mean? To say you could exercise away a 12-pack of Coke. You can't.
Right.
The damage is still being done.
Yeah, it's really interesting, right? Where you see some of the advertisement, how they use it, right? The marketing strategies that these companies use. That's what's can sometimes be disturbing. You know, when you're like Gatorade. I mean, exactly like what you just said. It's just like you're marketing this as like a sports supplement. Like, it's not a sports supplement; it's sugar.
Right. Hey, maybe do you want to send Matt a copy of the link?
Oh, yeah, that might be what's going on.
Because I sent him a link from my computer. And now we're 7 minutes into the show or something like that, and we don't have Matt on here, and that's why everyone listens. They want to hear about how he sleeps. Does he use his right hand to put around Sammy or his left hand? Does he wake up and do the erg, or does he do the assault bike? Oh, damn, you got some, your microphone's in front of your camera, and you got some nice depth of field. You see that? It's focused on your microphone instead of your face.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, this is just a MacBook.
It makes you blurry. It's cool. You look good blurry.
Yeah, I agree.
So how was boxing this morning?
It was really good. You know, did some technical drills, and then got some conditioning in as well. So, always just trying to fine tune my skills, man. How about that? Did you pay the money? No, man. What a waste of $50.
Oh, that's what we should talk about, because that doesn't interest Matt at all. I did pay the money. So I was watching the UFC, and I was like, God, don't pay the $49.99. Don't pay the $49.99. And then I paid it, and I watched.
I did the same thing.
I don't think Ben Askren, at first I thought he threw the fight, and then I watched it like 3 times. I'm like, he did not throw the fight. He just sucks.
Yeah, I just don't think he trained for it. I don't think he cared. You know, he didn't care enough. He's not that, you know, Jake Paul kid seems like he wants to be somebody important, right? And Ben Askren is 38, 39 years old. He's a 3-time NCAA champion. He's an Olympic wrestler, a multiple world champion in one. I want to say it was one, right? He came from one, not Bellator. You know, for mixed martial arts. Came to the UFC, didn't do very well. Obviously, in the UFC, only had one victory, and then
over kind of a washed up Robbie Lawler.
And it was kind of debatable if he wasn't out or not. You know, Lawler was definitely kind of a weird win, but either way, the guy's lived his life, and now it seems like he just wants to make money, and that was an opportunity for him. So he didn't take it as seriously as that Jake Paul kid did, right? He's 23. That Jake Paul kid right now is he's trying to prove himself, where Ben Askren wanted to make money, and that was it. And it seemed very obvious. Not the fact that he was out of shape. That's just Ben Askren. Ben Askren always has looked out of shape. Maybe not to the extent that he did, but he also just had hip surgery not that long ago.
Right, but in MMA he was at 170, and in this fight he came in at 190.
190, right? I wonder if that was the weight they just agreed upon, and he just came up to it, or didn't decide not to cut. You know, so when you're in UFC, if he's fighting at 170, that means he's cutting from probably 195, 200, you know, ish. Around there, right? 25, 30
I would
pounds.
say that for most fighters, but I don't know about him. He's pretty sloppy.
Here's Matt texted. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's Matt. So yeah, he didn't have that link. I agree,
damn.
man. He did look sloppy. He did, and I was, you know, obviously I was rooting for Askren, but that Jake Paul kid's hungry, man. He's a 24-year-old kid, and he's athletic. People don't like him because of his personality, but it doesn't mean he's not going to be a good fighter. It's like Floyd Mayweather. You know, a lot of people don't like Floyd Mayweather, but he's still arguably one of the best boxers ever. So,
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion on Jake Paul. I don't know enough about him.
Either do I. Right? I don't really care. I know Ben Askren was a wrestler and a fighter, so I'm going to root for him.
Yeah, Jake Paul is, I guess, if you're 16 years old, you know who he is.
Right, right.
Right. If you're not at your job and you're watching YouTube all day, you know who he is. And I'm impressed, definitely though, with what he's done. Right.
Yeah.
He said 6 years ago he was making, or 7 years ago he was making $10 an hour mowing lawns.
Right. Yeah.
And now he's fighting in the Mercedes-Benz Center, all with his own hard work. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You might not agree with how he's gotten there, but you know, he's living his life, man. And that's, and he's doing what he wants to do. And it's a hard thing to sit and just say, hey, this guy's, you know, garbage, this guy's crap, whatever. But he's doing it the way he wants to do it. And it looks like he's having fun doing it. So whatever. To each his own. To each their own.
Hey, Matt, what's up? Matt.
Oh man, busy morning.
Same.
Matt, did you not get good? Did you get my link from my computer?
No, it came through from Josh.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought.
I'm sorry. I'm looking. I sent it to you at 9:26 a.m. from my computer.
That never came through.
Okay, sorry.
So what you guys talking about?
Fighting.
The Ben Askren Jake Paul fight.
I have my whole theory on that.
Let's hear it.
I mean, I think Ben was showing up for a payday.
Yeah. Very obvious.
I know nothing about the situation. I know neither of these men. But just how Askren looked at the weigh-ins, and like he was a professional fighter. He went to the Olympics for wrestling. He went to the UFC. And then I remember watching one interview he did after his knockout with Jorge. And he's like, what? Like, everyone's making fun of me. He's like, I made $1 million last year. I'm going to take that million, start a business. Like, it gave me a stepping stone for the rest of my life. And it was purely just like there's no pride there. He was just like, nope. Like, I was there for the money. Like, I signed up for fun, found out I could make a living at it. And that was it. And he's already lived through the worst thing a fighter can live through. He's on someone else's highlight reel for a record-breaking speed knockout. Like, how many times has that clip been played? Every Jorge highlight film, that is the highlight, this bananas knockout. And so my theory is that Askren's going into it like, I've already lived through the most embarrassing like knockout that can happen. He got paid for that boxing match. He got paid $500,000 guaranteed, and a percentage of the pay-per-view.
Right, which they had I want to say they had 1.4 million views, which is more than the McGregor Poirier card, the last one.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
dude, I would take a knockout for so much less. And like,
yeah,
dude, are you kidding me? Like,
right.
1.4 million views off what is it, $60 to buy it?
50.
So Matt, how much would you, if someone hears this, how much would you get in there for $500,000 to fight Jake Paul and a percentage of the pay-per-view?
I think a couple years ago, yeah, absolutely.
Today,
I've done a lot more for a lot less.
Where are you at today? Where's the dollar? Give me the amount that is going to take you to step into the ring with Jake Paul.
Today,
you could be the savior, Matt.
Today,
everyone wants to see that guy get knocked out.
I wouldn't want to box.
I kind of don't.
You don't?
UFC fight, like anything goes. That number's pretty low. Boxing match, I don't care for boxing too much.
Are you a kicker? You like to strike or a grappler? What do you think you are?
You should know this, Josh. I'm a choker.
Oh, no. I think you're choking pals in your pants.
No, I think a couple years ago, dude, $500,000, that buys a lot of freedom. That eases up a lot of stresses in life. $500,000?
Right.
300,000 after Uncle Sam takes his portion.
If not more.
That's most mortgages.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't want to see him lose. I like the hype train. I like the story. I'd like to see him keep winning. But I do think if he fights Nate Diaz, Nate will slap the shit out of him.
If he fights a real striker, he might have problems.
That was the thing with Askren. He's not a striker. Like, even in the UFC, everyone made fun of him because they're like, dude, like, your punches are so soft. He's a wrestler.
Yeah, he's a wrestler.
And he started fighting because he came from a world where he made zero money. There's no financial benefit to being in those sports. And then he found out he's making a couple $100,000 a pop. Dude,
Very limited.
Why would you not?
Very limited. Yeah, it's really hard to make money in the world of wrestling. There's a few guys that do it. But yeah, but he was a phenomenal wrestler at Missouri. He actually went to Mizzou, University of Missouri. I remember watching him because I'm from St. Louis, and so I remember watching him growing up. Man, he was a stud. He was a stud at Missouri, and then went on and went to the Olympics, and he had an impressive career in the wrestling world, and then went on to one, and he actually was undefeated in one, the promotion one or whatever. So it's like a Bellator, UFC, whatever.
Yeah,
I think it's in Japan. You know that, Sevan?
Is that the one that
DJ went
Mighty Mouse just fought?
Yeah. Yeah, so
okay.
That was how Askren came to UFC. UFC traded Mighty Mouse for Ben Askren to one.
No shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Well, they thought they were getting rid of that weight class. The UFC kept talking about getting rid of 125.
I remember that. Yeah.
Do you, Matt?
125. That's crazy.
Those are grown men. 125. I know, man.
Oh, poor Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. I heard he got because in one they don't have you can knee guys when they're down or something like that. Like that was, and that's what happened. He was down. He thought he was grounded, and he took a knee strike to the dome, I believe. Right? I didn't watch it.
Did you see Tyron Woodley go into the dressing room with Jake Paul?
I saw like a little clip of it.
So he goes into the dressing room to watch him, I guess, wrap his hands. I don't know what the protocol is on that, but that makes sense. I guess you send someone from your team over into the other dressing room to watch them wrap their hands so they don't got like a roll of nickels in there or whatever. So Tyrone Woodley and this guy and Jake Paul and some of his entourage start talking shit back and forth to each other. And there's some chubby guy in there next to Jake Paul, looks really soft, and he's like, he's talking shit to Tyron Woodley and like throwing around Al Heyman's name. He's all, I can't remember if he said, I'm Al Heyman's son or I'm Al Heyman's nephew. It was like some of the worst name dropping I'd ever seen. I'm just like, come on, man. Do you know who Al Heyman is?
No.
Do you know? No, he's the Don King of wrestling. And no one ever gets to see him. He's like he's like Bob Abram, but I think bigger. Okay. And he's basically like, you'll hear Floyd always thank him, and you'll hear all the big boxers always thank him. He's the guy way
You actually watched the whole fight? You didn't just watch it the next morning, the highlight reel on Instagram for free?
No, I paid the $49.99.
So did I.
And that was the only fight I watched. But I heard I should go back and watch the fight that Oscar De La Hoya commented on, because I heard De La Hoya must have been high as fuck or drunk or something. Was he a mess?
I had to turn it down. I turned the volume down because I couldn't take it. I was like, this is awful. It was so bad. He definitely sounded like he was on something. And it was Frank Mir, UFC guy, heavyweight UFC fighter, and he fought like an actual boxer. But Frank Mir was he was definitely a grappler as well, but he had hands, and he kind of held his own, he still lost the fight, but it was interesting. I can't take it. I'm not a big Snoop fan either. And so Snoop and De La Hoya, it was like, all right, I'm turning this down.
Who doesn't like Snoop Dogg?
I like Snoop Dogg, but his commentary is over the top. His commentary is over the top.
It's so bad. I can't take it.
I like it for like 10 seconds and I'm over it. So I heard that not only was he high or like on coke or drunk, but I heard that then they turned him off. They turned the camera away from him, but they didn't turn his mic off. And you could hear him saying, "Put the camera back on me. I need more FaceTime. I need more FaceTime." You probably turned it down by
I turned it down. Yeah, I couldn't. That's crazy. Yeah, but then Frank Mir said something about it. He actually had a comment where he's like, I could be upset about the commentating during my fight, but addiction's a real thing, and man, that guy needs to he needs to go help himself. And so it's like sad to see. I was like, good perspective from that guy.
Good dude.
Yeah.
Look like you're being nice, but you're really taking a cheap shot at someone. Mm-hmm. Sounds like my specialty.
Maybe, I guess.
My sister has 3 boys, and they're visiting me, 10, 12, 14, and 16. Mm. And last night, the 12-year-old goes, "Hey, I want to get a workout in." And it's like 8:30. I'm like, "Sure." So I know, awesome, right? So I do a workout. I set up a workout for him, shoulder to overhead, burpees and pull-ups, 10 rounds. And Avi sees me setting it up, and he jumps in, and they get at it, and they start working out. It's like fucking 8:30 at night. It's probably Avi's 600th workout of the day. And afterwards, we're in the kitchen, and he goes, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Sure." And he goes, Why work out? What's the point of working out? Like, what's working out do? I was like,
that's when you pop your tart. And you're like, "This is why, buddy."
Well, it's funny because I told him, and I could see his brothers maybe looked a little nervous, like they thought it was a dumb question. But really, it's like, I didn't think it was a dumb question at all. I thought it was fucking amazing. But the answer I gave him is the answer I learned from CrossFit, and I guess even before CrossFit but CrossFit just said it more eloquently, is that we work out to stress our body so our body adapts so that we get stronger.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, I think it's great, right?
I'm asking for your guys' approval on a 1 to 10. How was my answer?
I think that was. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I think there's 100 different answers. I mean, more than that, correct answers for that question. And I mean, you can go that route of just like, it's good for your body, like you're supposed to do physical activity. You can go with like, teaching yourself that you're not made of glass. Like, you can push yourself, find that new limit. Because once you realize that, like, oh, this pain in my lungs isn't the end. It's like, oh, okay. Every task after that seems easier. And then there's just a whole natural thing of like, you feel good after. You get that hit of endorphins and like, you feel like you accomplished something. You physically feel good, whatever it is. I mean, you even go down the route of like camaraderie between people. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like, if you have a 16-year-old nephew, like, how much in common do you have with him? You personally.
Right. And this was the 12-year-old asking me this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So 12-year-old, like,
not much
like,
at all.
You guys talking politics or like you have some hobbies together, but it's like, no, you can do these workouts together. And now that's something that's going to bring you close together. You have this common thing that you two do together. So I mean, there's a million right answers and they're all good.
Yeah. And we talked go ahead. Sorry, Josh.
Oh, no, I was going to say, that was the answer that you gave him is a good answer. You're almost like, hey, your body's like your mind, right? We can't let it be stagnant. Our bodies aren't meant to be stagnant, just like our minds aren't meant to be stagnant. And, teaching a 12-year-old that at an early age is a great lesson to be learned. I never learned that. No one ever sat down and told me why I should be exercising. I just did it because I like to play sports. And how you get better at sports is by exercising, right? So yeah, it's like Matt said, there's 1,000 different reasons why you could tell a kid you should be exercising, but I thought you gave him a good answer.
You did work out so you'd be better at sports? That's why you did it? I
did. I tried to be. I wanted to be stronger in my mind. Like when I thought of working out as a child, I thought of basically lifting weights, right? That's what I thought of exercising. I didn't think running or doing calisthenics or things like that. I didn't look at that as like exercising. In my mind, when I thought of working out, I thought of lifting weights, because when you're little, you're not strong. Well, at least most kids aren't strong, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to be big and strong, and that's what I thought of. So I would do bench press. I would, do curls, because that's what you got to do, right, to get big biceps, big bulging biceps.
See, I started the other route. I was fat when I was little. And so I was like, all right, how do I not be fat? I need to go exercise. Yeah. And it was just push-ups, sit-ups, and running on a treadmill for hours. And like the motivation started because in the football league, I don't know if this is normal for like 6th grade football, but here to run the ball, to carry the ball, you need to be 130 pounds or under. And I was like 165, I think. And I was like, no, I want to run the ball. That's what I want to do on the field. And so
wait, how old were you?
6th grade, you said.
6th grade?
You were 165 in the 6th grade?
Yeah, I was a little fatty.
Dude.
Let's see the photos. Will you post that?
In 6th grade, I probably weighed less than 100 pounds.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I was chubby.
Yeah, so I just remember like hearing that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's something I want. I want that end result, so I'm just going to do it. And I didn't know about working out. I didn't know how to do it. And we had a treadmill in the basement, so I just did push-ups, sit-ups, and ran on the treadmill. And
Did you lose the 30 pounds?
yeah, I think I lost 35 pounds in like a month.
Nice. Heck yeah, man.
I just ate, I think it was like tuna in water, like the canned tuna.
Oh, you were
They're
eating
like the
healthy
bags
too.
of tuna. Yeah. No, it definitely wasn't the right thing, because all I
Healthier.
ate was tuna and bags of raw spinach.
Yeah, there
I
you
was
go,
like,
man. There's nothing wrong with
yeah.
that.
I just did that for a month.
That sounds like my life now, except not tuna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too far off it. I just eat chicken and broccoli now and cottage cheese. I'm trying to look fit,
trying
man.
to look good, trying to look fit.
I want to come back to what you eat, but I want to tell my story real quick. The reason why I worked out is because I was tired of wearing my shirt in the swimming pool at birthday parties. Mm-hmm. I was so self-conscious. I
have a buddy that the kid who grew up 2 doors down from me. Like, he was always the fat kid. Always had his t-shirt on. And like, kids are mean without realizing it. Like, we make fun of them for it, because like, we're like, why are you doing this? Like, none of us care. Now I understand why he cared. And it wasn't until, he was probably 30. And he was finally like, I'm tired of being this guy. Like, how do I fix this? And it's those same insecurities. He was just tired of being unhealthy. He was tired of not being proud of what he had for a body. And the fucking guy's down like 100 pounds now. And he started when he was 30. Like, it's never too late. It's just like the small changes. He doesn't work out like crazy. He doesn't work out like 3 times a day. Just once a day. Changed his diet a little bit, because it was just the typical diet of like high sugar and sitting around. So, yeah.
And I don't mean to say it's a bad thing either. Sorry, Josh, go.
No, you're fine.
It's okay to get made fun of. It's a mating game out there between the sixth grade and 30 years old. The whole thing is that it's boys and girls looking at each other, and if people want to be around strong, healthy people to mate with, and you know, what if those kids, if I didn't have that insecurity and I didn't start working out. So I don't want anyone to think that like I think it was a bad thing. Hey man, it's life. It's just that's how it rolls.
I got picked on, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I remember a couple times when I was super young, getting made fun of and going home and crying, and my parents just being like, "All right, if you don't like it, change it. Like, do something about it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like,
that's good parenting, people. That is what your parents should say. Just that. Hey, if you put it back on the kid, don't feel sorry for the kid. You just say that. That's it. Good parents, Maddie.
Basically, it was like,
do something about it.
I think it came down to like, I came in crying, being like, go out and make him stop making fun of me. And my parents were like, nah, like, that's not going to help. Like, if you want to lose weight, you can do that. And I remember for a long time, like, I would watch, when we were watching TV, as soon as the commercial came on, I would turn off the TV and then I would do like 50 sit-ups and 50 push-ups before I could turn the TV back on to watch my show. And
that was something you set in place for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Love it.
And I think it was either 30 minutes or an hour of TV a day that we were allowed to do. And like, we always had like family time, like after dinner and after homework, all that stuff, we got to sit down, and it was like, we'd watch like Roseanne and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Good shows.
And my family would like allow me to do this, of like turn off the TV on as soon as the commercial hit, and I would have to, and like my dad would hold my toes or something while I was doing my sit-ups, and if I was taking too long, they're like, come on, hurry up, get it done so we can turn on the show.
Yeah, that's actually how I trained for when I was going into the military. Well, obviously I did a lot of other things, but I would
push-ups during commercial breaks.
Yeah, anytime I was watching TV, I would do as max push-ups as I could between in commercial breaks, push-ups and sit-ups. Man, I would do thousands of push-ups a day, thousands.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Damn. Yeah, that's good stuff. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Meanwhile, during the commercial breaks, Josh has his kids go get him a beer.
Now I got my dog
Jack.
for that.
Jack, bring me a beer.
Yeah. No, man,
So
I
Matt-
had the same issues with my kids. Like, now that I'm doing boxing, I kind of teach them how to strike just in case they ever have to need to defend themselves. And that's what I tell them. Like, and they ask me sometimes, like, why do you do this? I'm like, it's never a bad thing to be able to defend yourself if you need to. You don't know if you're ever going to actually need to. And I'm like, I don't want you to go out and like pick fights and start fights, and you'll definitely get in trouble if you're starting fights. But if someone's picking on you and you need to be able to defend yourself, you need to know how to do it. And I think every single person should know how to do that, right? Like soft targets. That's what bad
much of
guys
that
go
comes
after.
down to like teaching your kids the difference. Like when I was getting picked on, I'm sure to a certain extent, like if it were like I was getting ridiculed relentlessly, my parents would step in and be like, all right, this is inappropriate. But like just someone calling me a fat ass one time, my parents being like, all right, well, like go do something about it, So I think there's that line of like, all right, if you're getting bullied relentlessly, it's like, the parents should step in. But like in my scenario, it was a very, very short window of me getting picked on and then me doing something about it. And so like with teaching your kids like self-defense or how to fight, it's like, yeah, absolutely. I think it's great for body coordination, for fitness, everything. And it's something that the three of you can bond over.
Yeah.
But then it's like, there's the responsibility of still being a good parent of like, all right,
and teaching them
like,
the lessons.
Like just because now you can kick everyone's ass in your grade doesn't mean you should.
No,
and it's like, I think that's super easy to do.
And not only that, not only defending yourself, you should be defending other people too that can't defend themselves, right? Mm-hmm. That protector in a sense. That's something that I've had instilled in me since I was a little kid. For some reason, I always felt very protective over my family, and I teach my older son. I'm like, hey, if anyone ever steps in on your little brother, like you better be the first one there. And if you're not, you're gonna deal with me. You know what I mean? Like, and the same thing.
Do you think that's why you went into the military? Do you think that's why you went into the military, Josh?
I think there was definitely some of that, calling for that for myself, to want to protect this country. So I think so. I don't think it was the only reason, but it was definitely part of the reason.
There's a father at Avi's Jiu-Jitsu studio, and he did something. I think it's called Kempo. I'm not familiar with it, but it sounds like there's a lot of striking in it and a lot of like you do bad shit to people, and it sounds like he was very accomplished in it. So I asked him, I said, hey, why don't you and his boy's 8, and I said, hey, why don't you have your kid in Kempo if that's your discipline? And he said he wanted him to do jiu-jitsu first before he learned any striking or anything that was that was seen as more aggressive or violent, because he felt like that the control that jiu-jitsu offers is more appropriate for handling situations for young kids before they get control of themselves, and they don't just see that like, hey, if all your kid knows is boxing and he gets in a conflict, he's just going to throat punch someone.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, yeah, wrestling and jiu-jitsu, first.
That's a great point. Yeah, my kids actually have learned wrestling before before I started working striking with them. Right, they've been wrestling since they were 3 and 5, and so I agree with that. I think that's a great a great aspect, right? Being able to like put hands on someone and not just tee off on someone's face, right? Like it's very different.
Right, right.
I love that term. Just tee off on their face.
Just tee off on their face.
Speaking of teeing off on someone's face, did you see Hepner's post, his boxing video?
Yeah. Well, I saw like the little Instagram post.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Matt?
I think I saw a clip of it. Yeah.
It's just really short.
If we're talking about the same one, I saw it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up here real quick and show you guys.
It's the one where he's punching a punching bag, right?
Yeah. This can you guys see that?
Oh yeah. I saw that.
So you don't know. But okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I think I know where Sevan's going with this, and it's this is just an Instagram clip.
Right, exactly. You don't know the context of that part of his training. You don't know what he's doing there. Like that could be a conditioning part of his training. You're just saying how big his head is and like the target. Or in
What
his
are his
hand,
eye?
and his hands
What
are
are his
down?
eyes doing? Well, you're right. You're right. It's just an Instagram clip, but it's one he chose.
Yeah,
you-
but
so-
like,
but
if you
that doesn't
if you
matter.
dude, look, like my Instagram while I was training, it was like if it were left up to me, I would while I'm competing, I would have posted once every 2 weeks. But it's like I would be finishing up training, and I'd be, hey Sammy, like grab a clip of me doing something, you know, and it's like it's not your priority. You're training, so it's like there's like the drastic sides of it of people that like their social media is their priority, so they're posting every PR that they get, and then there's the other side where it's like this is not a priority, so you're just going to get a picture of whatever's easiest to grab a photo of. And so it's like you see the Instagram superheroes of like, holy fuck, they're getting a PR every single day. They're pulling these huge numbers. They're running these paces, like whatever it is. That's the highlight reel. It's not the truth. Like,
Yeah. And so we
Adam Klink.
And so we don't know what he's
Adam
doing
Klink, of anyone.
Yeah.
Of anyone to pick, that's who you go with?
Well, I don't know his Instagram account, but the only reason why I ever went there is because he had that crazy performance.
Yeah, the 5 mile or sub 500-pound squat.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's not even relatable. That is an incredibly
Yeah, he should be
impressive
posting about
feat.
that.
He
Seriously.
should be
Don't get me
posting
wrong.
about
I know. That was my point. But
I
I don't know what the rest. Does he have 20 pull-ups or does he have?
Yeah, he did. Didn't he add 100 pull-ups into that workout?
No
shit.
He
did,
was it
he
50?
did something.
He did 50. No, he did
chest
50
to bar.
50 unbroken or something.
He is a very legit
Yeah, that dude is a
like
freak.
competitor.
Ooh, I love it how you guys came.
You don't talk about him.
No, but like he trained specifically to hit that benchmark. I'm pretty sure he did like a 12-week cycle.
Well, he
was
also-
already
he-
close to numbers.
I think he had as a track background, right? So that was his. He came up in running, and then he got really strong. I don't know his story at all. To be honest, I think I read somewhere that he had a track background.
Yeah.
And so the mile was already, I think, a sub 5 minute mile is only impressive at a very, very young age. Milers run like the best runners in the world are running 340 something. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Like, so a sub 5 minute mile isn't that impressive. It wouldn't get you to a state tournament in high school. But the
Except
fact
that how many sub 5 minute milers
that's
do
what
you
I'm saying.
know?
Let me finish my
Personally.
Let me finish.
Okay.
And so,
Okay,
but the
okay,
fact that he could do a sub 5 minute mile and back squat 500 pounds in the same day is insanely athletic. It shows insane athleticism. And so I agree.
It's the same as a 500-pound back squat. That won't get you any recognition on the world scene of weightlifting. Not even close.
Yeah.
But the fact you find me a weightlifter that back squats 500 and they're not coming close. I'm sure there's going to be one or two, and I'm sure they'll tell me, like, oh, you're fucking
They'll be in the
idiot.
comments.
They'll let me know. Either one of those things on their own is not that impressive if you're in that specific sport. But when you combine the two,
And not only in the same day, back to back.
What's
No,
more
so-
impressive, a 500-pound back squat or a sub 5 minute mile? Or do you think it's not even comparable?
I don't think either of them are very impressive. Like Matt just said, standalone. That's neither of them are very impressive.
I'd say not impressive
Oh,
for
man.
people in that sport.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Do you know anyone
standalone.
personally who can run a sub 5 minute mile? Do either of you guys know anyone
I
personally?
know, I probably could name 3,
Wow.
but they're all runners. That's what they did.
Right,
They ran.
I know.
Yeah. I know a guy who ran sub 4s.
Holy shit.
And I want to say he was one of the first guys. His name's Jordan McNamara. He was an extreme endurance athlete, and I just met him through the supplement company that I work with. But yeah, I want to say he ran 2 sub 4s like in back-to-back weeks or something like that. It was something really impressive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Matt,
anyways,
are you afraid that you're going to get an idea like that and try to pursue it? Like, what if that got in your head that you wanted to break the 5 minute mile? Would you be fucked? Like, does that kind of shit?
I bet
Like,
Matt's
after we
pretty
talk
close.
about this,
I bet you're pretty close, right?
So this is one of those things where I never want to say like, oh, if I tried, I would have done it. I hate it when people do that. Like, oh, if I wanted to be a doctor, I could have been. It's like, but you fucking didn't. So shut your mouth.
Right.
The only thing it's close is hand grenades and horseshoes.
Through the last couple years of training while I was competing, I took my paces off a sub 5 minute mile, or 5 minutes even. But I just never tested it. Like
you never.
The one and only time I tested my mile was when I first started working with Henshaw. And this is like 2013, 2014. And he was like, what's your mile time? And I was like, no idea. Like, couldn't even ballpark it. And he was like, all right, well, you need to go to the track and run a mile. And this is middle of winter in Vermont. And the health and fitness club right down the road from my house has an indoor 200 meter track. Like it is, and it's like a hallway. It's walls on both sides and it's 2 lanes. And so like you have to weave through people. Sometimes you get blocked behind people, all this. And so I went there. I didn't know how to warm up for running workouts. I didn't know how to pace running workouts, nothing. And so what did I do? I ran 1 lap and came in at like 43 seconds and was like,
no, you did not. Oh wait, how long was it?
The 200
meters.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I thought you meant a 400 meter lap. I'm like, oh my God, no, you didn't.
No, so 200 meter track, and I ran 1 lap at 43 seconds, and then I stopped, and I was like, all right, that was too slow. Waited a minute or two, ran another lap at 37 seconds, and was like, oh nope, too fast. And so then I just ran 8 laps at 40 seconds apiece, and held exactly 40 seconds on each lap. And was like, all right, there you go, 520 mile. And then I never tested it again.
In 2013, you were running a 520 mile?
Yeah.
But you did awful in like the 14 running. Like
yeah, because it was after other stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
No, this may have been 2014 after the games.
Okay.
Because I started working with Henshaw after the 14 games.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the next time I ran a mile and timed it, it was like 2017 maybe. And I was training, or maybe 2016. I don't know. Anyways, but Henshaw put me through.
Yeah, you better get it right because Josh will call you on it to the month.
Sure will.
Yeah. I was down in Cookville with Henshaw, and we were at the track, and we did a 3,000 meter of intervals, which ended with like a 1,200 meter slower, like 6 minute or 6:30 pace into a mile time trial. And Henshaw was like, I want you to hit, I think it was 5:30. And I was like, after 3,000 meters of intervals? And he's like, yep. And I think I came in at like 5:27 after all those intervals. So all my pacing was off a 5 minute mile, and I always hit my paces. But I just never, it's the same as like a clean and jerk. Why the fuck would I ever test that in training? No, I want to.
The hardest part is like getting to get down below that 5 minute mile is like to knock off those last 12 seconds. 12 seconds sounds like nothing. But when you start doing the math, you're like, okay, if I say you're on a 400 meter lap, right? Now you're like, all right, so I got to knock 4 seconds off every one of my 400 meter times. And it's crazy. I used to do, so I tried to train for a sub 5. And I did, what I would do is, so I would do 2 laps at a sub 5 minute pace. And then I would do 2 laps at a 6 minute pace. And then I would just kind of like slowly work it down a little bit, right? Coming down on the 6 minute mile paces on the laps. And so a sub 5 minute mile doesn't sound that bad on paper. It's 3 115s. These are 400 meters. Yep. 3 115s and then a 1 114, right? And so literally that's a 459.
Saving that 114 for the last lap instead of hammering it on the first lap.
Right? You don't come out first like that. No, you definitely. And man, it's.
Do you not like that, Matt? Do you not like that, Matt?
Oh, I mean, trying to speed up on your last lap. I mean, that's all my training is increasing, like going negative split times on everything. That's how I train. That's what I do. But at the end of a mile, for the last lap,
your legs feel like cement.
Dude, you like anytime you run longer intervals like that, it's like, all right, 4 laps. That's it, 4 laps. And then like you hit 300 meters into your first lap and you're like, oh my God, I'm not even done one. Shit.
Yeah.
So what happened, Josh? So how did the training go? What ended up happening?
It went good, but then I kind of had to just stop focusing on it because I still needed to work on strength. And I was thinking in my head, like, all right, I have a 5. I think my fastest is a 5:14 or something like that. And I'm like, it's up there with, like, I don't need it to be much faster. Like, I don't, like, in the CrossFit world, this is going to be among the fastest. And don't get me wrong, I didn't want to ever, like, neglect it and not allow it. But I'm like, now it was just a pride thing. I just wanted to be able to say, I've run a sub 5-minute mile, right? So I could say it. And yeah, so I never did. I think I went and tested twice, and both times, man, I would hit that second and third lap, and I would just lose my pace. I had the pace through 2 laps. I had the sub. I think I had like a 2:27 going or 2:28 at 800 meters, and then the third lap, just the bear jumped on, man, and I couldn't hang on to it, And so it's a mile is a nasty trial. It's a really hard test.
Mm-hmm.
Do you make those up yourself? The bear jumped on, or is that?
Nah, I mean, I'd say that's a refrigerator.
That's common.
Like, I picked up the refrigerator on the third lap, and it got heavy.
I never hung out. I never did sports, so how would I know?
Yeah, all the sports. I do all the sports. So,
do you guys tape the camera? Put tape over the camera on your computer when you're not using it?
Mine's always closed.
No, I have a little slide on mine. It's like a little window that you stick on, and it's like a peephole. Like at the nightclub, where like when the 50s movies, when they knock and they like open up the slide. Yeah. I have one of those over my camera.
What's the password?
Do you seriously?
Yeah.
It's like an accessory you bought at the Apple store. It just goes on your MacBook Pro and you just slide it over?
No, Nike sent it to me. It's got a little Nike swoosh on it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Because every time, this software we use, Riverside FM, every time we're done using it, the green light on my camera never goes off. So it started, and I know it's because of the software. Something's not turning off with my camera, but I've been getting paranoid lately. Like 2 days after we do a podcast, I walk by and my green light's on. I'm like, time to restart my computer.
My computer always goes down when I'm done with it. Like after we get off this call, like I close my laptop.
And you don't open it again until when you climb into bed?
I don't open it again until the next week, until the next podcast. I hardly ever use my laptop. Hardly ever.
When you guys go out on dates, did you ever let the women pay?
Absolutely.
Sorry, I don't mean let, but I mean
absolutely.
Let.
Equality.
I never, ever let the woman pay. I could have like $6 in my pocket and the bill be $5.99, and I'm like, well, I guess I got to pay the whole thing. What do you say, Matt? You're like, you would go out on a date and you'd be like, we'll do this Dutch?
No, like I think I always did pay, but like, would I let the woman pay? Yeah, absolutely. Like,
well, yeah.
Like,
okay.
Like I told Sammy, I was like it was kind of a joke, but it was kind of serious. I was like, hey, like if you want to propose to me, I'll take your last name. Like equality, Like I don't give a shit about, like, I hate saying it, but like gender roles. It's like, no, we're a team. Like even now, Sam and I, it's like, no, we're a team. Like, who cares about where the money's coming from or who has what chore or anything? It's just like, you're better at that, so you do that, and I'm better at this, so I'll do this. So I mean, like even now, it's like I just have the memory of a goldfish, so it's like half the time I forget my wallet. And sometimes
one of those
Sammy,
guys. One of
like
those guys. I have friends like you. I have a lot of friends like you.
I save so much money. No, but like some of the times the bill will come and Sammy will just be like, "Oh, I got this." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like,
I don't mean so much now. Although it's funny as you say that, I realized for the last year since I've been fired, my wife is the breadwinner. People would always be like, "I'd be like, who cares if the woman's the breadwinner?" They're like, "You don't know." But now I do know, and I've never thought twice about it. But I mean, like before, let's say you were in high school and you were going to a movie with a girl, would you have paid?
Yeah,
I always paid.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have. I'm sure I did.
Josh, you don't want to participate in this conversation. This is about relationships and girls.
Yeah,
you don't do this one. You don't do this one.
You're right. But my grandpa did like teach me something, you know, like he was always like, typically when we went out to dinner with my grandpa, like no matter who was with us, he always paid. And I always like thought that was, I don't know if I like thought it was cool or whatever, but I just like, I respected it. And I've kind of tried to like carry that on with my, like, especially with my family. Like anytime I'm like going out to dinner with like my mom and my sisters or anybody, like I always grab the bill like the whole time. It's like, I make, you know, I do well, and, you know, and so it's like, for me, it's just like almost like this is how I can take care of them a little bit. So.
Yeah, see, I think there's a big distinction between when I was in college and I had $84 to my name, and now where it's like, yeah, we've all done well. I can afford it, and like when I'm going out, 9 times out of 10, when I'm going out to a meal, I'm not going out for the meal. I'm going out to see friends and to have a good time, and for me to have a good time, I want them to have a good time, and I don't want them to pay. Like when I'm enjoying the company, it's like, no, like we're friends. You're doing me a favor by being here, by coming with me. And I don't want you to have to go into your pocket for this. So yeah, like if I'm going out now, yeah, I try to always grab the bill.
I've never had any cheap friends.
What?
I've never had any cheap friends.
Yeah, all your friends worked at HQ.
No, I mean, I mean, even before then, like I don't like I don't have like my friends always come to my house with some. Even when I was a little kid, they would come to my house. Like I never like. What about
when you were, you know, you didn't have a home, when you're homeless? You didn't have any cheap friends.
Oh, then no one's cheap. Everyone's got more money than you, so no one can be cheap, right?
That's true.
Like they give you a cup of rice. But I mean, like even as a kid, if I was at the arcade and like the kid next to me had 2 quarters left, or I had 2 quarters left, I would give him my quarter. I wouldn't be like, "Fuck you, I got 2. Watch me play." I never had friends like that. I never had asshole friends.
I had a buddy
until this podcast.
I had a buddy who, man, like. I kind of always worked, even since I was, my first job, I was like 14. I like lied on my application and told them I was 16 so I could work. And I, you know, made a living during the summertime. And, you know, I always kind of had a little bit of cash. I never was like, I would not call myself like rich or anything like that, but I worked and I had money so I could spend it. And I always had a buddy who would come out, man, and we'd like get through like wherever we were at and eating our food. And then he'd be like, "Oh man, I forgot my wallet," every time. And I'm just like, bro, like you're ridiculous.
Was it a joke or was he serious?
I mean, it was serious. Yeah, but he would do it every single time. And it got like to the point where like I'd have to call him. I called him out all the time. He doesn't do it anymore for the most part. But, you know, I'm still good buddies with him. And, yeah, I still bring it up often, though. I'm like, dude.
So my buddy and I, like, I would just, like, forget my wallet or whatever. And, like, as we're getting in the car, I would be like, "Ooh, I don't have my wallet." And he'd be like, "All right, like, I'll get you." And, like, it would happen back and forth. And then it became a joke of, like, just to be a pain in the ass. And, like, get to the restaurant and be like, "Yo, I forgot my wallet." And I definitely left it intentionally. And then it started backfiring because we'd both like be at the line at Chipotle. And like, I'd be like, "Yo, I forgot my wallet." He'd be like, "Dude, I did too." And I'm like, shit.
Well, see you later.
I did have, it's funny now that you say it, I had this motorhome and I parked it on the beach in Santa Barbara on my friend's lawn, who lived on the beach in Santa Barbara. So I had this motorhome, and I had a friend come stay with me in the motorhome. We stayed there. It was a guy, and we stayed there for I don't know, maybe 2 months. And whenever, and all we did was eat pizza, drink beer, work out, and go to the beach and look at girls all day. And so whenever we'd run low, and I paid for everything. I paid for the beer, I paid for the pizza, I paid for the gym entry. And then anytime I would run low on money, I would just look on Craigslist for a job, and I would get a job like filming a bar mitzvah or editing some porn or just whatever I could find, whatever loose end jobs I could find on Craigslist.
Wait, is that real?
Not the editing porn part. Oh, okay. That's just to make me sound cool. But filming the bar mitzvahs or filming weddings or just whatever. There used to be tons of film jobs on Craigslist, and so you could make $300, and that would get me through another week. So after this 2 months, and I pay for everything, we pack up our shit and we drive back to the Bay Area. And we're just in conversation, and he tells me his car breaks down, and I'm like, oh shit, you're fucked. What are you gonna do? And he goes, oh, I have $20,000 saved up.
I like your buddy.
Yeah. And I paid for everything for 2 months, and that story, that
it stung a little.
I'm living hand to mouth. I'm fucking working the day jobs to pay for all our beer and pizza, and he's got $20,000. He had like a $3,500 auto repair bill, and he had $20,000 in the bank. He let that slip, and I'm like,
okay, pal, I remember that.
Okay.
Next time you ask for extra pepperoni.
The key to saving money is just finding a friend like you that's more than happy to spend his money.
Yeah. And I still didn't regret doing it, but I just thought it was a little cold. I was like, come on, man.
Come on, man. How about next time you get the extra cheese?
Yeah. Josh, someone DM'd me, and they were 100% serious in this DM. They want to know if you use Botox.
I do not use Botox ever. No.
Has anyone ever asked you that?
No.
No, you have such youthful, smooth skin.
See, but I don't. I got wrinkles, man. I got wrinkles right there. See
I feel like anytime Sevan says one of these things of like, I got a DM, I feel like it's just his way of asking a question and not having the responsibility on himself.
Do you know
I want to start seeing these DMs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want you to hold it up, and then it's a valid question. And they have to have photos. It can't be your fake Instagram account DMing you.
Fair enough. So we can build that circle of trust that's so tight.
Do you know any men who use Botox?
Yes.
No.
You do?
Yes.
Tell me.
Yep.
Name them. Names. Let's name names.
So Keith uses Botox?
Is it a CrossFitter?
No. It's no one in my network.
They were just gonna say Noah Olsen. I was like, what?
Yeah. So like the topic came up with like a group of friends, and I was saying, like, for men or women, I was like, I don't like it. I think like coloring your hair, like, I understand that some people like it, and it's like, yep, if that's what makes you feel better about yourself. But I think, like, don't change your body unnaturally, like, that has to be rough. Like, learn to love yourself for who you are, because if you don't like yourself for who you are, you're going to be miserable because you're with yourself all the time. And, it's like, I went through it when I was young. Like, I had chest hair. I was the only kid my age with chest hair. And I remember I got it waxed one time, and then immediately I was like, I'm going to learn to love myself for who I am, because I'm never doing that again.
My chest.
And like, I know, like, I've heard like Cara Webb talk about it, like with the size of her legs. She was like, I just wasn't like everyone else, but I'm stuck with it. So I need to learn to love myself for who I am. And so, like, people that dye their hair, or like Botox or whatever it is, I don't want to say against it. If you want to do it, do whatever the fuck you want. And I was saying, like, I couldn't imagine what would have to happen here for me to get Botox. And then, like, everyone I was with was like, oh, I get it.
Dudes?
I do this, I do that.
I mean, I know women.
And
women.
one of the people was a dude, and I was like, get the fuck out of here.
You hang around a lot of celebrities, it seems like, lately, because you're, that type of, you're an A-lister.
This guy was not a celebrity.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
man.
Average dude.
Just an average dude getting Botox.
And I could not believe it. I remember
Where did he get it?
I don't know. We didn't go into that type of detail. But, like, there's people.
Wait, I think was he
my age?
Sevan, are you asking in, like, on his body, where did he get it, or like?
Yeah, like his forehead, his
forehead.
lips.
His forehead.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You thought? Oh, nice catch, Josh.
No,
good dude. You're a good dude.
But I remember talking to one person that, like, used to be a CrossFitter, and they were getting Botox, and I was like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, love yourself for who you are. And they were like, I don't want smile lines.
This was a girl,
and
probably.
I was
female.
And I was so taken back of, like, why the fuck would you not want smile lines? Do you want to get to 80 years old and look like you never smiled? I'm like, dude, I have these big fucking lines whenever I'm grinning ear to ear, and I'm like, No, when I'm old, even now, when I have those lines, I want you to know that I'm having the best time. That smiling's not new for me. And like, I'm having a good time while I'm here. I can't see my face, so what do I give a fuck? You're the one who has to look at it.
It's true. I get like, for men, I think it's the weirdest thing possible. Like, I really do. I think it's really strange. Like men age, man, and like typically, like, it is what it is. Most guys age.
Everyone ages.
No, I know.
Everyone ages. Like,
but listen, hey, can I finish my comment, Matt? Can I finish?
No.
Can I finish?
No.
No. But I like, for women, I can understand the pressures that they can be under, right? You know, I can see it. It's easier for me to understand when a woman says I put Botox in my face, even though I agree with you wholeheartedly what you're saying. Like, I think it's silly. I think it's stupid. But you know, I think that women definitely probably feel a little more pressure to stay and look younger.
Here's the part I don't like. If I look at you and I see something that doesn't look human, I want to look away. So do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like when people have like the really big lips or their
yeah.
eyes are pulled too tight.
Yeah.
And so I'll be somewhere, let's say there's a bunch of parents somewhere and there's that one mom that's had all the work done. Like, I feel bad because I don't even know, like, my brain does. It's not even that I'm judging them for getting the work done. I'm like, Matt, like, I don't give a fuck. Do what you want to do. But I don't see a human anymore. I start like tripping on you. You're a novelty or something.
Do you guys ever watch Bill Burr?
I force myself to go over and say hi to him. No, but I like him. The little bit I've seen of him, he's amazing.
So Bill Burr.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he has one whole skit of like, stop doing facelifts and Botox. He's like, you don't look younger. He's like, right. You're 50, you look 50. He's like, when you get a facelift, you don't look 30. You look like a 30-year-old lizard. And it's like, yeah, that's true. Completely true.
I think even like when you get really like you're getting like girls in like their 20s now doing it. And
yes, prophylactically.
Yeah.
Do it now before you have wrinkles so you don't get wrinkles. I hear that shit. I'm like, what the
you're like,
fuck?
I think it ages them to where, because you look like you're trying to be younger when you're already young, and I feel like it ages them a little bit because they have that look.
You look like you feel old.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if that
like,
makes sense.
I feel like it makes it look like you have an insecurity.
Oh, yes,
and
for sure.
You feel old. Granted, dude, if people want, like, do whatever you want.
I think
believe,
it's funny
like,
that we're talking about Botox.
I think if it doesn't affect anyone, you should be free to do whatever you want. If it doesn't harm anyone except yourself, do whatever you want. So to anyone that has Botox and it makes you happy, keep doing it. I'm like, no.
I think we're the three experts on Botox. It makes the most sense. We should be talking about this.
When I have gray hair start coming in, I have some grays that are coming in. Couldn't be happier. Like, the thought of dyeing them or pulling them out has never crossed my mind. The day that I have these wrinkles on the side of my face, no, couldn't love them anymore because it's me.
We'll see.
And the biggest thing, like, I don't have to look at them.
We'll see about those grays not getting pulled out. I don't know. It's like you're kind of talking like a person who doesn't have kids, but you want to talk about, you know, how to raise kids right now. You know, when you don't have something, you don't know.
Oh, you're saying he's too young to talk about growing old gracefully?
Yeah, you know, I agree.
Like, I don't think
I want to even like. I don't even want to hear your opinion on it. No, I'm just kidding, dude.
People have been telling me for years that I'm going bald in the back. And
really? I don't know. I've never noticed.
Yeah, I think it was because I had a shaved head, and so it's just like the angle that like the light hits, it looks like a bald spot. And people keep pointing that out to me, and I'm like the only reason it's annoying is because people keep talking to me about it. It's like if you're wearing blue jeans and people are like, wow, those are really cool yellow pants. And you're like, dude, they're blue. What are you talking about? Like, that's the only reason it's annoying. I couldn't give a fuck if I go bald. I'll just start shaving my head again. Like, what do I care? I don't have to look at it. It's your problem.
The bald thing's a trip to me too, a little bit, and you know, like Josh has said, like, who the fuck am I to talk? I got like 3 heads of hair on this head.
Dude, yeah, you can't talk about being bald, bro.
But like all my friends who are bald are like, they're beautiful men. They look fucking awesome bald. Dude, like I've never looked at a bald guy and been like, oh my god, he's bald. That he'd look better with hair. I'm like, damn, that looks cool.
Nobody looks bad with a shaved head. It will be shocking when you first do it because it's such a change. But like, I can't recall a single person I've ever seen that like they clearly are just bald on top, so they shave the whole head, and then you're like, no, like you're just bald. Like it's weird.
You look amazing. You look amazing. Actually,
it's the same transition as when you see a bald person and they show you a picture from when they had hair. It looks fake. It doesn't. You're like, it doesn't look like you. It's weird. Like you look weird with hair. It's a good thing you have a shaved head. It's the same transition as when you have hair and you start losing it and you shave it for the first time. Nobody looks bad with a shaved head. It's like, it looks bad when you're doing like the comb over, you're trying to hang on to it.
Man, when you're hanging on to the sides, keep that going. Hang on to that straight, baby.
Just grow the left side real long and comb it over. No one will know the difference.
No one will ever know. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, man, do you, right? If you want to hang on to those strings, hang on to them, baby. But yeah. I agree. Like, yeah, man, like, I'm sure once my thinning hair starts to really thin out, I'm going to freaking shave it. So it is what it is.
When you saw the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight, Josh, did it give you any anxiety? Like, oh shit, what if I end up like Askren?
You know, I think I was definitely.
What if Jacob ends up like Askren? I mean, either way, like
it definitely made me think. It definitely it made me think. I wasn't a fan of the production of the whole show. You know, I kept. Like I turned it on the third fight or whatever it was. So I think there was 3 or 4 fights I watched, and I didn't really like the production of it. It was
too much music. Too much music.
A lot of. It was like this whole thing, right? Where I'm like in my head, and I'm sure the boxers didn't see that, right? They didn't see the production. They were just in the back getting warmed up or whatever. And so for me, I didn't like the way that it looked, and so I was like, all right, I don't. But again, when I'm going up the box, I'm going to be in the back do my own thing. So I don't really care how it looks as long as I go out there and I can perform. But yeah, it did. You know, like I thought about it. I was like, damn, like he just got knocked out. But then again, kind of how we talked last week, where how you have to have the mindset going into training. Yeah, I'll be nervous to get knocked out because in boxing, like you get hit with a punch, you can get knocked out. It is what it is. Like that just happens. That's the nature of boxing. And so, but I'm going to rely on training. I'm not going to try to rise to the occasion. And I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's what Ben did. Like I think he tried to just rise to the occasion. He's like, I'm a fighter. This kid's just a YouTuber. Like I'm going to knock this kid out. Where Ben should have taken it more seriously and if he cared if he won or not, which I don't think he did. And so
the energy that Jake started with was crazy.
Yeah, man.
He came out at 10 moving. He came out like a Robert Whittaker, and fucking Ben Askren came out like a slug.
Dude, yeah. Ben Askren came out like he looked. Like someone poured him into his skin. You know.
So Matt, tell me about Podium. There was one I watched a portion of the video that you released.
Only a portion?
Well, I was watching on my phone and I was at like some kid event. But is it a 165,000 square foot facility? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
That's a fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And
it's a wild facility.
And what goes on there? What are you getting into?
Everything, like anything and everything we want to. It's like they have the labs for making whatever products we want. They like import, they do all the testing there. They do in-house testing, third-party testing. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever you want. Like they have their own storage facility. So when the products come in, they get put into quarantine for a certain amount of days. They have, what is it, like the atmosphere regulation. So it's like stays at the perfect, like 35% humidity. And I forget what the temperature was, but like, you know, whatever the ideal temperature is for storage. And they test every vat that comes in there, so that like it's as foolproof as possible. And like when we were there taste testing, you know, they're amazing at what they do. Of like, hey, like this watermelon, let's put a little more sweet in the beginning and a little more sour at the end. They come back 5 minutes later out of their lab and they're like, all right, try this, and we go through with our scorecards and. So I think like the flavors are going to be top notch. The quality of the product is going to be second to none.
Second to mine, the one I use.
and what are you guys making? What's Podium making? Like what are the
So to launch, it's protein, pre-workout, and a BCAA with hydration.
And then isn't proteins, if you have a complete protein, right, it has all your BCAAs.
Yeah, I mean, this is just more like if you don't want like the protein shake, you can have it, but it's kind of like a combination of the BCAAs and like the hydration drinks are super popular now, and so we're like, oh, 2 birds, 1 stone, let's just do this. And then I think pretty quickly after the initial rollout, we're going to start developing some other products.
How about this? In the last podcast we did 3 years ago, there was you mentioned, what was that product? Beta-alanine?
Yeah, beta-alanine.
Yeah, I think that someone DM me and they go, holy shit, right after, and they really did DM me, Matt. They said, hey, right after Matt mentioned beta-alanine, beta-alanine gives you a third lung. That shit just sold out everywhere. He's like, I went online to get it and it was just fucking gone.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to sell that? The third, and you should call it the third lung.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on the list of products we're looking into. But I mean, there's a lot that goes into sourcing, and then with beta, it's like I know more people that don't like it than they do. I think it's
the tingly one, right? Makes your face tingle. Yeah, I've tried it a couple times.
If you do it right, it makes your whole body tingle.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of people don't want that. So, we have to look at the pros and cons of, all right, the market that we're selling this to, the market that we're going after, how many people, like for me, it's like, I don't care about the tingles. And like with beta, it's like after a couple days, those tingles go away. But a lot of people will try it once and be like, nope, don't like that. I remember the first time I sent my brother beta, and I was like, I sent him like crates of supplements, and I was like, all right, man, with this, start with half a dose. Ease into it. Do a week of a half a dose and then go into a full dose. And he's just like me. More is better. More is better.
2 is 1 and 1 is none.
Dude, his fucking ass texted me. He was like, hey, took beta this morning. It took 2 scoops and like was crawling out of my skin. I'm like, you dumbass. I told you. Half a scoop. Like, ease into it. But he got a PR on his 10K or 5K, whatever he was doing.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, I mean, there's a whole list of products that we're looking into and in the development stages of.
Are you going to sponsor athletes?
That's the plan. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, that's another thing that we're talking to people about.
Who's part of it? You, obviously, Marston and Heber, and then was there other athletes involved?
No other athletes, no.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No, there's 2 guys on the business side. One's a lawyer, and one is just like from that business world.
Nice.
So the whole 5 of us got together, and we're like, hey, let's do this. So
congratulations. It's fucking awesome.
It's been so much fun, and it's just so different from anything else I've ever done. And it was a big piece of like when I retired, it was like, okay, I have the time and energy to dedicate towards other things like this, where it's like, I'm not endorsing someone else's product and I just have no involvement in the business. It was like, no, I want to roll the dice on some of these things now of, I want to be involved in the business. I want to be on that side of it now. And so this came up, and it was just the perfect opportunity of partnering with other people that have expertise like in that field. And it was like, cool, like you have expertise there. I'm good at this stuff over here. Let's partner up and do this shit. So yeah, it's been a ton of fun. When
you start your own business, no one can say, hey man, we don't think you fit the brand anymore.
Exactly.
Your paychecks are stopping. Okay.
Why Florida is the headquarters?
Florida's not the headquarters.
Oh, Georgia?
Yeah.
Georgia. It's all the same to me.
Yeah,
East Coast.
good.
That's where the manufacturing facility
your geography is very, very good.
West Coast till I die, baby.
Atlanta, that's Florida, right?
Yes.
East Coast, baby. I'm back.
You didn't even watch the video.
I watched part of it. I did. I watched the training part. Because I'm still learning, still trying to get better.
Strict pull-ups, bicep curls, bench press.
I like the part where you were doing the curls, and you're like, I think we were supposed to leave 10 minutes ago, and then you continue to curl.
Oh, You did watch it.
Priorities,
That's all,
baby.
yeah. I watched a little
Priorities.
bit, yeah. You sent me. I didn't like. It was like it didn't pop up on my feed or on my YouTube feed or whatever. But then you told me about it, so I went and checked it out.
Did you see the clip of all the dudes I was training with? Dude, they're all like miniature bodybuilders.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, but that's
crazy.
the CrossFit. That's like that CrossFit build now, right? Like every guy looks like that in the CrossFit build,
It's wild.
especially if they're going to be a CrossFit Games athlete. You know, like they all have that similar look. All right, it's crazy.
Oof. Yeah, I missed the boat on that
Not
one.
the champ. Not the
I
champ.
missed the boat. I'm trying
The
to get
champ
on
does
that
his
boat.
own body. The champ does his own body. So Matt, what are you eating these days? You started early in the beginning of the podcast talking about broccoli and water. Or?
Yeah.
it.
So I was off my diet for a little bit while we were packing and moving. But now I'm back on it. I usually don't eat until noon or so, and then breakfast is just like eggs with added egg whites, turkey breast, and broccoli, and then the rest of the day is just chicken and broccoli, baby. Wow.
So you're going for it. And what's the most ass thing you ate on your 15-hour drive?
Nothing terrible. I mean,
Snicker bar, Coke?
No, slamming down sugar-free monsters like they were going out of style. Dude, it was a 17 and a half hour drive, and we did it straight.
That's a drive.
And I was driving by myself, and Sammy was driving by herself. And so we just got pinned out on some monsters and coffee and just hammered.
See, when I do that, when I know I'm going to be traveling for like a long period of time, like over 12 hours, which doesn't happen very often. You obviously sound like you drive a lot more than I do. I make like a full thermos of like 3 pour overs and put it in the thermos so I can just like sip on it. So I never have to go that route where I'm drinking Monster.
Oh, I love a good white monster. Oh, they're good. No, but I mean, like, Sammy packed a bunch of snacks. I mean, stuff like Fuel for Fires and like a bag of almonds and a bunch of jerky. So it was relatively healthy, but you're just sitting for 17 hours, just stagnant, feeling like a big old turd.
Yeah. Have you ever had?
I did my part, Josh, and I called him and talked to him for a half an hour
You're a good dude.
because I knew he was on a long drive.
Hey, that is a good dude.
We
That
were
is a really nice
we were
guy.
planning on splitting up the drive, doing like 10 or 12 hours and then finishing up. And then I think we were both just so excited to get back here. And we were like, fuck it. Let's just hammer through. So we ended up getting here at like 11 p.m. or so.
Have you had my go-to snack when I have those long drives, when I have to stop at a gas station, I just want something a little sweet, is those Reese's Pieces Trails mix. Have you seen those?
I don't approve.
My mouth just started
care.
watering.
I don't care.
I don't approve.
I don't care.
For me, with
Continue.
like stuff like that where it's like candy, like a candy bar or skit, whatever it is, for me it's either all or nothing. If I just don't touch it, it's not difficult for me to not have it. But like if I go and have like a chocolate truffle, I am devouring 30 of them.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, as soon as I have one, it's like, oh, fuck it. My diet's already ruined for the day. Let's make it worth it.
Yeah. That's like
A
having
whole bag of Twizzlers.
That's like people who can drink like earlier in the afternoon or something and then still like go do a workout later that day. Like if I have a sip of alcohol, whether it be a sip of beer or a sip of whatever, like I'm done doing anything for the day. Like I'm relaxed mode. I'm hanging out, watching like whatever, and just chatting. But like some people, like my buddy came over and I had this whiskey. Somebody sent me some whiskey, and he's like, "Oh, let me take that." This is this was like at 10 in the morning, and we're literally going to work out. He's like, "Let me sip that." I was like, "You want a shot of whiskey before we go work out? Like, you know what we do in that gym, right? Like, we're not going in there to talk. Like, we're going in there to kill ourselves." And he did. He took 2. He took 2 little, like, he was like, "Oh, they were sips." I was like, "Bro, I saw what you took. That wasn't a sip."
Yeah, like when I'm off sugar, it's not difficult. Like when I'm eating just chicken and broccoli, it's not difficult. It's as soon as I like go out for one meal and I'm like, oh, I'll just get one appetizer of something a little bit fried, or I'll have one like bite-sized Snickers, and then it's like, well, no, now my body's like, give me all of it.
Discipline equals freedom, like Jocko would say.
Are you in ketosis, Matt?
What's that?
That's
It's a
where
city. It's a city. Are you there?
Yeah. Are you in ketosis?
No, I'm in Vermont.
Do you ketosis is when your body stops burning glucose as its primary fuel source and it starts burning ketones, fat.
Oh. How do you know you're not like, does your body tell you? A little like warning light go off, like, hey buddy,
send you a DM.
Do I get a notification on my phone? Like, hey, you've entered ketosis.
One of the dramatic things you would notice right away would be, instead of craving sugar like at night where you might normally crave it, you'll start craving fat. So you'll start craving tons of avocados, or you want to eat a shitload of nuts when you're in ketosis. Like your whole craving changes. And if you don't eat, you'll forget to eat. Like if someone doesn't, like, you have to almost remind yourself to eat because you just don't get hungry.
Oh yeah. Sammy asks, well, like, remind me all the time. Like, hey, like, do you want lunch? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And she's like, what did you have for breakfast? I'm like,
welcome to ketosis.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I haven't eaten yet. No, I mean, even when I was training, like, or eating like I used to, it was like at night, we always had like big bag of almonds, like salt and vinegar almonds. Oh my God. Anyone that hasn't tried those, get on that train. But no, I mean, now it's just like at night I'll have cottage cheese with berries, and I don't know if I think it's good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
Who gave you your diet? Who gave you your bodybuilding sculpted physique diet where you're trying to get on the cover of GQ?
I've been working with, guy's name is, I don't know his last name, Chesko, but he's a nutrition coach for Hybrid, the company that I do my programming through. And so, I mean, crazy. I mean, he was helping Sammy and I, and he was telling Sammy, like, yeah, just go for a walk every morning, like 30-minute walk every day. That'll help you lose weight. And we're kind of like, all right, buddy, you know. Dude, Sammy's been going for a 45-minute walk every day, and just like weight is just falling off her. It's crazy. Yeah. Who knew? She'll just put on a weight vest and go for a walk.
It was that same 30 minutes that she was eating a pint of ice cream every day. No,
Sammy eats the cleanest. Like, she just lives off salad, vegetables.
I don't know about that. If I see what she makes in her food, there's no way she's eating like super clean.
Oh, she doesn't eat that. She doesn't eat that shit.
Really?
She feeds it to O'Keefe.
Dude, that food looks so good.
Oh, it's
good.
Dude, she, like, if we have people over, she will make this like buffet of just like barbecue and sides and fixed, like all this amazing food. My mouth is watering right now just thinking about it. And then she'll just like, she'll serve everyone, and then she'll go make a salad. Like, she just,
that's
like
discipline right there.
That's a good
she'll
girl.
nibble
That
on
equals
some
freedom.
stuff. Like, when she's making stuff, she'll like taste it to see, to make sure it's coming out the way she wants. But then, like, yeah, she, like, there was a while where like she was trying to like perfect how to make a cheesecake, and like every day making a cheesecake and like tweaking little thing here, little thing there. She's not eating it. She doesn't eat cheesecake. And she would just put this cheesecake in front of me. I remember it was one year, it was like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks before
Rough
regionals.
life, pal, rough life.
And I was like, honey, you have to stop making cheesecakes. Like, I'm going to keep eating them, and like, we can't have this in the house. Like, I need to lean out before regionals. No, Sammy eats super, super healthy.
Check this out. Yesterday was the 52nd week in a row that I did a 36-hour fast. I made it an entire year.
Wow.
With only drinking
once a week, you did a 36-hour fast? For a
for
year?
52 weeks. Yeah, for 52 weeks.
Wow.
And yesterday was morning was
What's the longest you've ever fasted?
I think once in college I did 10 days, but I drank broth for 10 days.
Is that there's a lot of calories in broth.
No, it was a homemade broth. So let me rephrase that. It was basically what I would do is I would just, it wasn't a bone broth. I would just basically take like onions and like chopped apples and stuff and like lemons, and I would boil them or simmer them, and then I would filter out all the sediment so it was just the liquid. And then last year I did 2 5-day fasts, and they fucked me up. Those were just strict water fast, no coffee. And something happened to my metabolism in that I didn't like. Like I came back when I didn't feel like myself when I came back. Like for like the next 3 months, I lost all control of my eating. That was like last year.
And what, like I said, like explain it. Like what do you mean?
So when I do these 36-hour fasts and I come off the fast, it's like I'm not like, oh my God, it's 36 hours and I go run and eat.
Right.
It's not like that at all. I'm just like, okay, whatever. I just keep doing my thing. I walk by, I throw a piece of melon in my mouth. If I do, maybe I forget to eat, whatever.
And so you're done with the carnivore diet?
I just taken a month off.
Gotcha. Okay.
But by being off, I'm just added a ton of fruit. I just added bananas and maybe some non-fat yogurt, or not non-fat, plain whole fat yogurt. But I'm pretty sticking to I'm going to go back on the carnivore. The reason why I stopped was the same reason that this 5-day fast did to me. My hands started getting too cold. My heart was doing some weird shit towards the 5th day, and I was supplementing it with some potassium and some salt. But then when I came off of it, I just never could feel full again. Like my eating just got, I guess I don't know how to explain it other than my eating got out of whack. I was just voracious. It was like almost like
voracious,
something inside of me was like, oh my God, you're never going to be able to eat again. It was almost like I ate for 3 months straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but this 36-hour fast, basically what I do is I just stop eating on Saturday night. Doesn't matter what time. The goal is 24 hours. So I stop eating on Saturday night, and then I don't eat again till Monday morning. So then I got 2 sleeps in, so that's 2 free fasting, and then just the middle of the day.
Have you that for Matt? Maybe you should play with some intermittent fasting if you're trying to look.
Sounds like he does, right?
Yeah, I don't eat. I usually don't eat until noon or 1.
Yeah, but what does that mean? Because like when you're intermittent fasting, like you really can't have anything, right? Coffee's like the only thing that's allowed, and it can't have anything in it. So when you say I don't eat till noon or 1, does that mean you don't eat a meal till noon or 1, or you don't have snacks and stuff like a protein shake?
I don't have anything. Just
a protein
coffee
shake
and water.
Like a protein shake is
coffee
a meal.
and water.
Okay.
Yeah, just coffee and water.
Yeah, and then but then what time do you stop eating at night? See, that's I like snack at night.
He goes to bed at 8:30, Josh.
Like
he goes to bed at fucking 8:30.
I get hungry in the middle of the night, and I'll like wake up and I'll have a perfect bar in the middle of the night pretty regularly.
Yeah, like when I was training, it's like
gordo.
I would have a meal right before bed, like a full meal.
Yeah. You had
usually
to.
around 10, and then a lot of times in the middle of the night, get up and have something like a perfect bar or
PBJ.
something like that.
Yeah, man, happens a lot.
Now, I mean, I probably don't eat anything after 10:30, 11. So it's like, I'm not hitting the time window of intermittent fasting.
Yeah. Like that 16 to 8, that 16 to 8 is interesting. It's an interesting time, but I think it might do you some service if that's actually what you're looking to do. I saw great results from it. My life didn't fit it with my kids' sports and things like that because their sports would happen during my window eating time, and it would knock like 2 more hours out of my day of eating, and I'd be like, it stressed me out more than it did me good.
Great excuse.
Hey, thank you. I have lots of them, and I'll keep them coming if you need them.
I was also thinking if I wasn't unemployed, I don't know if I could do the 36 hours along that same line of being a crybaby like you. If I wasn't unemployed, I don't know if I could fast 1 day a week. Because there's some times where you just go to shit. Most times I didn't, but in the 52 weeks, there were times where I was just a fucking mess. I know that's hard to believe.
No, and then you also have to be prepared for it, right? Because you have to be prepared for your meals where, again, the same thing, I didn't take the time out of my days to food prep. And so then I'm like scrambling to get meals in during that 8 hours because I'm like, all right,
you don't have anything ready.
Right, I don't have food ready. And so now I'm like, all right, I need to eat right now so I can have another meal. So I'm hungry again, right before my window ends. So yeah, I have a lot of excuses, Sevan. Do you need any?
I think this in this show, yes, always. I think I talk the least shit in this show of all these shows.
Yeah, you're right. Good.
It's weird.
I'll tell you guys why. I'm not ready to tell you guys why yet.
Oh, you're in a night.
Oh my God, you sound like a little kid.
Are you playing
I
a
have
game?
a secret, but I'm not going to tell.
So me and a buddy in the military, we used to play a game called the Nice Game. And if you said anything mean to the other guy, you had to go get wet. Like you had to go like literally like in your full clothes, like go get in the shower. Or if we were in San Diego, you had to like run and go jump in the ocean. Like when because we were on base was like the ocean's right there. And so because we were always like talking so much shit to each other, we would be like, man, when did it become okay to say the things that we say to each other? You know? And we say it so regularly that it became like this would be harder if we played this game where you had to be, we called it the Nice Game. So, I mean, you couldn't even be like condescending. You couldn't say, hey, that's a really nice shirt. You know, like, oh, what did you mean by that? You know, like, and then boom, you had to go hit the surf. And so we played that game pretty often. Is that what you're doing with yourself right now? That's where I was going with this.
No. Do you really want to know?
Yes.
Oh, this is going to break both your hearts.
It's probably nothing cool.
I wean myself from coffee.
Get out.
Why?
Look at Josh is ready to hang up. Josh is going to text me and cut that part out of the show.
And
was it a necessity? Like your next coffee shipment didn't show up, and
no,
like
the donkeys didn't deliver. I have so much good dudes. It's so sad. I just figured, hey, I made it a year fasting, 1 day a week, and so what else could I do like to like make myself even cleaner? And so I just thought, okay, I'll cut coffee for a little while.
Just take a break. Coffee's not bad,
dude. Wait.
And so I didn't drink I haven't had a cup of coffee in 3 days, and I think it's like made me nice. Like there's just like no witty shit coming at him.
It's not worth it. Yeah, you're just
not worth it. Not worth it. We're gonna get you back on coffee real quick. Don't worry.
You're just sleepy and boring.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sleepy. Dopey over here.
All right, we're at 91 minutes, and I have to go to my boys' ballet.
See ya.
Oh wow. I have to go back to doing real adult